Here's the truth. Every single person has potential, but not everyone believes it. And that's the tragedy of life for many people. They see their reflection in the mirror, and all they can focus on are the cracks, the flaws, the things they wish were different. And I've stared into that mirror before. And God doesn't see you that way, though. Thankfully, God doesn't look at our mistakes. He looks at our possibilities. You see, He sees the potential He placed inside you long before anyone else ever doubted you, misunderstood you, or walked away. The same hands that painted the skies and carved the mountains placed something extraordinary inside of you. And Jeremiah 1 verse 5 says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." That means that you are not random. You were chosen. And God already saw what He could do through you before you ever doubted what you could do for yourself. You see, your potential isn't about what you've done so far. It's about what's still waiting to come alive. It's like a seed buried in the soil. Think of it that way. You may not see it growing, but God is working underground, preparing it for the right season. And sometimes we think nothing is happening, when in truth, everything is happening. We just can't see it yet. And potential doesn't bloom in comfort. It blossoms through struggle. And when you feel pressure, when you're feeling setbacks, when the doors close, that's not failure. That's formation. You see, God uses heat to shape gold. He uses storms to grow roots. And He uses challenges to awaken your faith. And if you've ever felt overlooked, I want you to remember David. He was out in the field tending sheep while everyone else stood in front of the prophet, waiting to see if they were chosen. But God said, man looks at the outward appearance. The Lord, I look at the heart. And that moment teaches us something powerful and beautiful, doesn't it? You don't have to be noticed by people to be anointed by God. I'm going to say that one more time because I want you to hear it. You don't have to be noticed by people to be anointed by God. And that's the truth. You see, potential without faith stays dormant. Faith is what turns your someday into today. You might say, I don't have what it takes. But God never asked you to have it all. He asked you to trust Him with it all. Think about Moses. He told God, I can't speak well. I don't know if most people know, but Moses suffered from a severe stutter. But God said, who made your mouth? And see, God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And when you step out in faith, heaven backs you up. Says the brain-damaged handicapped guy with the bald head and a lazy eye. Absolutely, God doesn't call the qualified, but He qualifies the called. I'll tell you what, thankful for that. And Philippians 4 verse 13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Not some things. It says all things. And that's not pride. That's power. That's the realization that when God lives within you, there is no mountain too high, no dream too big, and no failure is final. Potential is not fulfilled in intention. It's fulfilled in action. Some people wait for everything to be perfect before they move. They plan, they plan, they plan. They live by the plan. They die by the plan. But faith doesn't wait for certainty. Faith moves in obedience. Sometimes faith says you got to live and take action like it's impossible to fail. Try that sometime. You'll win. When Peter stepped out of the boat to walk on water, it didn't make sense, but it made faith. As long as his eyes were on Jesus, he did what was impossible. Keep that in mind. As long as his eyes were on Jesus, he did what was impossible. And that happens when you step into your potential. The impossible becomes possible because your focus shifts from your weakness to his strength. So stop saying, I'm not ready. You'll never feel ready for what God calls you to do. But readiness isn't about how prepared you feel. It's about how surrendered you are. And God can do more with a willing heart than with a perfect plan. Did you hear that? God can do more with a willing heart than with a perfect plan. And that's true as well. You see, maybe you've made mistakes and maybe you've failed. Many people label you as an average, lazy, or not enough. But the beauty of God's grace is that it rewrites your story. Yesterday doesn't matter. You are not defined by your failures. You're refined by them. And Romans 8 verse 28 says, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. And that means every setback, every heartbreak, every disappointment can become the soil for your growth. Nothing is wasted in God's hands. And if you've fallen, well, get up. If you've been broken, let God rebuild you. It's as easy as that. If you've been ignored, I want you to know this. God saw you when no one else did, and he hasn't forgotten about you. You are God's masterpiece, friends, not his mistake. You have gifts inside you that the world hasn't seen yet, but there's nobody in the world who can use those gifts the way you can. You have songs not yet sung, dreams not yet realized, and purpose not yet fulfilled. But here's the truth. Potential without pursuit remains possibility, not destiny. You must move forward in faith, trusting that what God started, he will finish. So take the step. Start the dream, write the book, begin the ministry, apply for that job, heal the relationship, forgive yourself. God has already gone ahead of you. And friends, when you wake up tomorrow morning, look in the mirror and declare this. I am filled with God-given potential. I am equipped for every challenge. I am chosen, called, and capable. I will not waste what God has placed inside me. And keep saying that over and over. Let it take root in your heart. Because you're not too old, too late, too broken, or too far gone. You are right on time for what God is about to do through you. And your potential, well, that's God's investment. And it's time to start living like you believe it. Truth. God bless you, my friends.